Hi everybody, my name is Elena. I'm head of customer success here at Warmy, and today I wanted to challenge how we think about email and how we think specifically about cold outreach. For some time, email hasn't been just the communication tool, it started to become a trust negotiation tool, and something that I know a lot of people will be uncomfortable with because a lot of people sending cold emails, I would say pretty much everybody. Cold outreach doesn't just risk being ignored, but it also can actively damage your digital trust footprint when it's done wrong. And this is something that I want to unpack today during this video. So hopefully we'll share something interesting, something useful in terms of my thoughts, and also we'll be really interested in seeing what you're thinking about. So to start with, what is actually digital trust and what does it mean? Digital trust is the perceived legitimacy, authenticity, and reliability of your identity online. Everyday platforms and ISPs like Google, Yahoo, Outlook running silent background checks on you and more specifically on your sending behavior. And some of the questions that they're asking, are you who you say you are? Do people want your emails? And are you consistent, clean, and credible? And to answer those questions, they're using signals like sender reputation, open and engagement rates, although not the biggest fan of open rates, but still something that's been used, domain health, bounce rates, and just overall historical consistency of your sending behavior. In this world, reputation is currency, and this is something that builds slowly, but it can be lost instantly. And the emails that you're sending, they're actually the proof of your work. Something that I want to continue with is basically cold emails, and then email in theory, and then how cold email works in practice. So first of all, in theory, we all know that cold outreach should be personalized, relevant, value-driven. So this is something that all of the cold outreach playbooks, all of the LinkedIn authors are sharing. So basically, this is the rule of thumb of the cold outreach, and it should feel like a thoughtful knock on the door. But in practice, it doesn't work like this. It more often feels like somebody is trying to break into your window. Must send, it's relevant, it's very robotic tone, especially with a lot of AI writing tools, AI writing platforms. And in cases where people use automation irresponsibly, like for example buying email lists or skipping warm-up or spamming templates, it basically becomes digital pollution. And something that I've been observing with my clients is that even a great message, if it's sent without proper reputation or proper preparation to have good reputation, it will be treated like no's. That's basically where Warmy comes in. I'll talk about it a bit more later, but something that we also can help, and basically the reputation is the baseline of your sending. Something that you have to understand that bad email, they're not just annoying, they're actually polluting, and they leave in scars on your infrastructure. And each ignored message, each bounce, spam complaint, unsubscribe, they basically chip away to your reputation, and it's invisible. You don't see the full damage until it's too late, and this will be reflected by lower sender scores, IP or domain blacklists, open rate plummeting across campaigns, and probably the most important thing in cold outreach, reply rates are not being there. And one bad campaign can kill your domain, although your domain has existed for years and you've been sending really valid, really good emails. A small mistake can cost you overall history of this domain. And unfortunately, I'm not being dramatic here. This is something that I'm seeing across all of my clients on a daily basis. So let's flip perspectives. Imagine yourself as the receiver, your inbox, and you probably already can imagine it because I'm sure that almost every person who works in SaaS, you're seeing your inbox being flooded with cold pitches, fake personalization, generic subject lines, and it's not outreach, that's inbox trauma. People have been so bombarded by irrelevant emails that they've developed defense mechanisms, and every good, even really good email is starting to look suspicious. And the platforms, ISPs, they're noticing it. Gmail, Outlook, Microsoft, they turned up the filters, and they're doing this probably, I don't want to lie, but I feel like on a monthly basis. And if your email smells even a little off, that's like a small mistake, it's not going to reach anybody. That's why attention is no longer the price, it's the cost of entry. And the main thing that you have to do is to cut through the noise. And that's one way to do that is by earning trust and having your digital footprint clean. So probably the main question, the main issue right now is how to earn the trust, and the bare minimum that you can and have to do is warm up your domains, IPs, and mailboxes properly. Your infrastructure has to be clean, it has to be verified, and you have to be consistent. Something that I'm seeing across a lot of people I'm working with is inconsistency in sending, and a lot of providers, probably all of the providers, they're noticing it. So you have to be consistent, and you have to write really real and valuable content, because no matter how good your reputation is, no matter how good your data is, your templates, etc., if you're sending something useless to people, they won't respond to that. If you're not hitting their pain points, if you're not understanding their use cases, you're not going to get any positive engagement. And personalization, not just for the sake of personalization, but you have to have an intent, an understanding, not just first name, company name, and stuff like that. You kind of can think of this like this. You wouldn't ask someone for a favor before saying hello. So why is your email doing that? Really useful thing is, imagine email is kind of live conversation with the person face to face. And that's why digital trust is very delicate, but it's also something that can be recoverable with intention and the right tools. So again, it is very difficult to recover. It's always easier to build from scratch. It's always easier to start clean, but something that Warmy can help you with, if you've done a mistake by accident, or maybe not by accident, you had to do it. You had to have a big send and you need to recover. This is where we come in, and this is something that we can help you with. We can help you with rebuilding trust at the technical layer. So basically like on the backend, send a reputation, warming up your IPs, making sure your infrastructure isn't betraying your message. And then this is something that we can help you going forward once you launch the campaigns, to analyze what engagement you're getting from live data and what changes needs to be done on the front end, on the way you send, in the templates, your database, segmentation, and things like that. And something to conclude with the simple truth: digital trust is cumulative, but it is fragile. This is something that you build over time through behavior, and not just by simply saying, I want you to trust me. So the next time you send a cold email, ask yourself, are you building the trust for the person you're sending this email to, or are you burning it? Because in the age of automation, the difference between spam and strategy is basically trust.